Hey guys, it's Raul again, and today I'll be sharing with you guys my May wrap-up. So in the month of May, I ended up completing a total of 6 books and getting through a big chunk of 2 other books, which I'm really happy about. I feel like I haven't been reading as much the last couple of months, but this month I actually did a pretty good job with my reading, and I'm kind of back on track for like my Goodreads goal and everything, so I'm very excited. So I'm going to go ahead and share with you guys my thoughts and feelings on everything I read in May. Now I'm going to very briefly share with you guys the books that I started in May but didn't complete, so I've kind of rolled them over into June. The first one was American Gods by Neil Gaiman, which I got about 550 pages or so into this one in the month of May. I'm really enjoying it so far, so more of my thoughts on this when I end up finishing this one in June. And then the second book that I started but didn't complete in the month of May was Half Bad by Sally Green, and as of me filming this, I've actually already completed it, so I'm going to talk about this one more in June for my June wrap-up and everything, but I've really enjoyed this one. Now onto the books I actually ended up completing. The first one was The Diabolic by Ashton Kincaid. Now I've already done a full spoiler-free review on this one, which I will link down below, so I'm not going to get into too many details on this one, but this is a YA sci-fi story about this robot or cyborg that they call in this world Diabolics. Her name is Nemesis, and it's kind of her story revolving around her now taking the place of the senator's daughter and kind of everything that ensues around that. So yes, like I said, I'm not going to get into too many details. I really enjoyed this one and ended up giving it around a 4.5 stars or so. So if you guys want more of my thoughts on this one, definitely check that review down below. The second book I completed in the month of May was The Alpha Drive by Kristen Martin. Kristen Martin is a great YouTuber here, and she's got a wonderful channel, which I will link down below, which she gives a lot of advice on like new writers and everything. So every week she's got a video on writing advice and how to do a lot of different things within her books and stuff, and I've been following her for a long time, and I finally ended up picking up her book, The Alpha Drive, and I actually ended up picking up all of the books in the trilogy, but I read The Alpha Drive, the first one in the trilogy, in the month of May, and this is a YA dystopian series. It's kind of a mixture between The Matrix and Divergent, which when I heard about that, I really had to kind of like read it for myself and find out, because I really love The Matrix and Divergent. I really enjoyed those. So yeah, I really ended up enjoying this one. This follows a main character, Emery Parker, who goes to a boarding school, and when she's in the school, she kind of finds this society of people that are trying to stop these other people that are part of this other world that are trying to invade. Like, there's a lot of things going on with this one, but I ended up really enjoying this one. It was really fast-paced. I read this one within like 2 sittings or so, so I really enjoyed it. It was really fast-paced. The only thing that I feel I didn't love about this one were the characters. I don't know what it was about. Like, there was nothing really super wrong with the characters. I just wasn't loving them. I don't know why. I don't know if they felt underdeveloped, or I just, like, personal taste, like, just wasn't loving them as much. But like I said, I didn't hate them. Like, there was nothing super wrong about the characters. I just didn't really love them as much as I would have wanted to. But the story itself, the plot, everything was just like awesome. Super fast paced. I really enjoyed it. If you guys still like dystopians, because I know a lot of people have kind of been burnt out with dystopians and everything because they've read so much of it, I would definitely check this one out and support a self-published author, because she is self-published and she's wonderful and awesome. I actually met her this past weekend at BookCon. And yeah, she's great. So I would definitely recommend this if you guys still really enjoy YA dystopians. It is definitely a solid book. And the next book I ended up completing in the month of May was Clockwork Prince by Cassandra Clare. This is the second book in the Infernal Devices series. And now, for those of you who have been watching my channel for a while, you know that I tried starting this book months ago. I think it was like sometime last year, and I ended up kind of putting it down because it was due back at the library. I wasn't really enjoying the second book. I actually was just like really bored with it. So I ended up picking it up on audiobook because it was finally available at my library, so that I can finish it, because for some reason I was in the mood to see how the story ended, and I'm glad I did. I ended up finishing it and giving it about a 3 stars or so. But yeah, this was definitely my least favorite book in like the entire Shadowhunters world. I don't know if I'm just growing out of the whole Shadowhunters kind of phase, I don't know, or if it just wasn't as good as I wanted it to be, but I felt it was really boring. It dragged a lot. It definitely suffered from that whole second book syndrome. I just was not enjoying it, but I'm glad I picked it up on audiobook because I liked the narrator and everything, how he told the story, so that definitely kept me more engaged, and I enjoyed how everything kind of ended in the end. So I'm kind of curious to continue on with this series, because I have owned Lady Midnight since it came out, and like Lord of Shadows just came out, and I haven't picked it up or anything, so I really want to continue on with the series, but yeah, definitely not my favorite book in the series. After that, I ended up reading Reconstructing Amelia by Kimberly McWright. This book I've had on my shelf for a while now. This is an adult, I think, mystery thriller about this girl named Amelia who is caught cheating in her school. Her mom gets a phone call one day and tells her that she has to come pick up Amelia at her school because she's been caught cheating and she's been expelled. And they live in New York City, so it takes her mom a while to get to the school because of traffic and everything. So eventually when the mother gets to Amelia's school, she finds out that Amelia has actually committed suicide. She's jumped off of the school and killed herself, and then shortly after the funeral, she gets a text message from an anonymous number that tells her that she did not jump. So she didn't actually kill herself. She was murdered, and it's like her now going back and trying to reconstruct, hence the name of the book, reconstruct all of the events that happened before her death, what happened, if she didn't really kill herself, who actually killed herself, what went on with everything, what was going on with her life that made her kind of like do all of these other things that she did. And I loved this one. I ended up giving this a 5 out of 5 stars. I loved this mystery. I loved the characters and the tone. It was awesome. If you guys enjoy adult mystery thrillers, this is definitely one that I recommend because it was awesome. It kept me guessing the entire way through, like I said, and I really enjoyed this one. And after that, I ended up picking up a book that is well known and well loved here on BookTube, and that was Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I finally read this book, and I didn't love it as much as a lot of people did. I enjoyed it, I really did, but it took me a really long time to get into this one. I feel like the first 250 pages or so, I was just not into it. Like, if it wasn't because of the fact that this book was a gift from a close friend, and I knew it was formatted in a way that I can get through it quickly, I probably would have ended up DNFing this book because it was just so slow. I wasn't getting into it in the first, like I said, 250 pages or so. It was just so boring. It was dragging. I did not like it. But at around 250 pages, it took off. Things started getting really interesting, and then I loved it so much after that. But like I said, it just took so long. So that's definitely what kept me from giving it a full 5 out of 5 stars. So I ended up giving this a 4 out of 5 stars instead because of that. Like, I finished it and then just loved it so much and wanted to give it 5 out of 5 stars, but then kept reminding myself, I almost DNF'd this book. And the last book I ended up completing in the month of May was A Monster Calls by Patrick Ness. This is probably one of my favorite books that I've read this month. I really loved this book. A lot of people here also love this book. It's a story about a boy whose mother is dying of cancer, and then he's got this monster that starts visiting him in the middle of the night to kind of tell him stories and everything and cope with this whole process and things that are going on. And I love this one. The writing was beautiful. The illustrations were absolutely amazing. This was definitely a quick read. I think this is another one that I read in about like 2 sittings or so. And I loved this one. This is one that will make you cry. Like, it has made, I'm pretty sure everybody that has read this book, it has made them cry, and it definitely made me cry. I'm no exception to this one. I absolutely adored this book. It was wonderful. I'm so glad I finally read it because it's been on my shelf for a while, and I had like 2 days left in the month, and I knew I wasn't going to finish any more books, so I figured, you know what, I need to pick up something that is short, that I can actually like breeze through in the last 2 days of the month, because I didn't want to just wrap the month up as it was. So I'm so glad I ended up picking this one up for the last 2 days in May. And then a book I forgot to mention that I also started but actually ended up DNFing in the month of May was The Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll. This is an adult mystery, I think, about this like girl who's going to get married. Like, it keeps going from the past to the present. But I went in this one blindly. Like, I didn't read the synopsis, and I DNF'd it about halfway through. I was listening to this one on audiobook, and I just did not enjoy it at all. Like, the characters, there was no real story going on. Like I said, halfway through, there was still really nothing going on. It was just talking about these characters, and they were just so unlikable and self-centered and pretentious and materialistic. And I hated them. I hated these characters because they were just so self-centered, and they just irked me. And I usually don't mind unlikable characters if there's something going on, but at the halfway point there was still nothing going on. So with me going into this book blindly, not having read the synopsis, and then getting halfway through this book and still not knowing what the heck was going on, I couldn't do it anymore. I had heard from someone, did a review somewhere on BookTube, I can't remember who it was, that interested me in reading this book. That's why when it was available at my library, I said, you know what, I I think I want to read that book. I can't remember why, but I know I want to read it. So I picked it up, couldn't remember why I wanted to read it, still can't remember why I wanted to read it. So yeah guys, that is it for all of the books that I completed, attempted, and started in the month of May. Comment down below and let me know if you guys have read any of those books, what your thoughts are, what your favorite books were in the month of May. Thank you guys all again for watching, and I will see you all next time.